Hi students, now in this video lecture we will continue with the preparation of insoluble salts. Before this lecture we have gone through the preparation of soluble salts. Now preparation of insoluble salts, let's start with direct synthesis. Right, in direct synthesis let's do heading preparation of insoluble salts. Preparation of insoluble salts. First is by direct combination. Like in the earlier lecture for the preparation of insoluble salts, we have studied how we prepare soluble salts using direct combination method. Similarly, we prepare insoluble salts also using direct combination. Right. So direct combination. In this, it's like lead, right? Lead metal, when it is heated with sulfur, right, it will form PbS, lead sulfide. This is an insoluble salt, right? Similarly, there is another salt, iron, it will form ferric sulfide, iron sulfide. This is also an insoluble salt. So this is by direct combination, wherein elements are directly combining to give you a compound. This compound is a salt. Example, lead is combining with sulfur to give you lead sulfide. Similarly, element iron is combining with another element sulfur to give you ferric sulfide. So this is preparation of salts using direct combination of elements. Right. Now there is another way to prepare insoluble salts. We can calcium oxide by combining by reacting acidic oxide with basic oxide. Right. So let's take example of an acidic oxide. We have carbon dioxide, right? Carbon dioxide plus calcium oxide. When carbon dioxide and calcium oxide are heated together, it will form calcium carbonate, right? This is which is an insoluble salt. This is an insoluble salt, right? Similarly, another reaction where sulfur dioxide will react with calcium oxide. We have, what is the another name for calcium oxide? It's quicklime, right? We also call it as quicklime. Remember the common names, quicklime, because in exam they may ask you name the gas that reacts with quicklime to give you or calcium carbonate. So you should know what is quicklime. Or they may ask you name the compound, which compound or will react with carbon dioxide to give you calcium carbonate, or anything they can ask in true or false. Will quicklime react with carbon dioxide to give you insoluble salt, calcium carbonate? So you should know that common name for calcium oxide is quicklime, right? So here also you will get an insoluble salt, calcium sulfite, right? So here quicklime or calcium oxide will react with sulfur dioxide to give you calcium sulfite, right? Now there is another method that we have already studied. It's called as a precipitation method, right, or double decomposition method. Precipitation we are aware of, wherein two solutions combine, right, two solutions mixed together, right, to give you a solid substance, a solid product, right, that settles down at the base of the beaker, right. Similarly, double decomposition also we have studied in previous classes. Double decomposition is a chemical reaction or a chemical change wherein two solutions mix together to give you two different compounds, right, by exchange of radicals. The thing that we need to remember is, in double decomposition reaction, exchange of radicals takes place. We'll see in the reactions that we'll do here, right. And precipitation is wherein two solutions mix together, like silver nitrate and hydrochloric acid, or silver nitrate and sodium chloride will mix together to give you silver chloride, and we know silver chloride is a solid, it's a precipitate, right? You will see a white precipitate of silver chloride. So the method is precipitation or double decomposition. And we can also say it as let's see how using double decomposition reaction will get a precipitate, right? Let's take example of barium chloride, right? We can take example of barium chloride and sulfuric acid, right? So we said exchange of radicals, this is a double decomposition reaction. Let's see how. Product would be barium sulfate, which is an insoluble salt, right? It will, this arrow, the downward arrow shows that it's a precipitate, it's a PPT, precipitate, right? Plus HCl. So how it's a double decomposition? If we look in solution, barium chloride will dissociate into barium plus chlorine, right? Similarly, sulfuric acid form 2 hydrogen ions and sulfate ion, right? So in double decomposition, if you remember, these radicals, these ions are called as radicals, right? So these radicals will, positive radical of this compound will react with negative radical of this compound. Similarly, negative radical of this compound will react with positive radical of this compound, the second compound, this way, like this, right? So the product is, these two will react to form barium sulfate, which is a precipitate, right? Downward arrow shows it to be a precipitate. The other compound is HCl. So these are precipitation reaction wherein two solutions are mixed to give you a precipitate, a solid precipitate that settles down at the bottom. Similarly, double decomposition, because exchange of radical has taken place here, right? So here is one important reaction, right, which has been asked many times. Silver nitrate solution, this is a solution, right, will react with HCl, hydrochloric acid, or sodium chloride. You can also take sodium chloride in place of HCl. It will form silver chloride, a white precipitate of silver chloride plus HNO3, right? Similarly, in place of, if we take sodium chloride, it will form silver chloride plus sodium nitrate, right? This is again a precipitate. So all these are, both these are double decomposition reaction wherein a precipitate is getting formed, right? Now in this double decomposition reaction only, we can prepare an insoluble salt from another insoluble salt, right? But the insoluble salt first needs to be converted to a soluble salt, right? And then that soluble salt will react further to give you an insoluble salt, right? I'll write it over here. This insoluble salt, right, will first form a soluble salt, right? And then this soluble salt will react further to give you an insoluble salt. Let's take an example, right? Lead carbonate is an insoluble salt, right? It will react with, we are trying to prepare, the salt that we are trying to prepare is PbSO4, lead sulfate, which is an insoluble salt. Right, now let's see how we prepare this insoluble salt from another insoluble salt. Let's take another insoluble salt that we to start with is lead carbonate, right? So as per this is an insoluble salt, right? So first we will convert this insoluble salt into a soluble salt. What we can do is we'll react it with nitric acid and it will form PbNO3 whole twice plus H2CO3. And we know lead nitrate is a soluble salt, right? This is a soluble salt, right? So now this soluble salt will react further to form an insoluble salt. Now let's say PbNO3 whole twice will react with sulfuric acid. Right? If we add if we mix lead nitrate solution with sulfuric acid, right? Both are liquid, both will mix together and give you an insoluble salt, which would again be a precipitate, right? And it's a double decomposition reaction wherein positive of this will react with negative of this. That is, lead will react with sulfate, it will give you PbSO4, and this is what we were trying to prepare, lead sulfate, right? This would be a precipitate plus HNO3, right? So here we prepared an insoluble salt starting with an insoluble salt. The only thing is we need to remember, first we need to convert the first insoluble salt into a soluble salt, which is lead nitrate here in our case. Then this lead nitrate solution further reacted with sulfuric acid, giving you lead sulfate, right, which is an insoluble salt. This is a precipitate, right? So let's see why we could not directly prepare lead sulfate starting with lead carbonate. If we will try, say let's try to prepare lead carbonate, right? Let's try to prepare lead sulfate from lead carbonate, right, without first converting it into a soluble salt. PbCO3 plus H2SO4. If we mix sulfuric acid and lead carbonate, this is an insoluble salt, right? We know insoluble salt means it would be a solid, right? This is a solid, right? When you add sulfuric acid to the solid, it will form lead sulfate, and which we know again this is an insoluble salt, right? This is an insoluble salt, a solid. This is the reaction that initially this reaction will takes place, and this insoluble lead sulfate, right? Insoluble lead sulfate that will get formed in the reaction will deposit on this solid lead carbonate, right? When this solid salt will deposit on this solid salt lead carbonate, the reaction will stop, because this lead sulfate will form a crust on this solid lead carbonate, right? So further reaction will stop, right? Here further reaction will stop, right, due to the formation of lead sulfate, insoluble lead sulfate on lead carbonate, right? So reaction will stop. The further reaction will not take place. But in this case we mixed two solutions. Two solutions can easily mix together, right? And the reaction will continue, because we have both reactants, lead nitrate and sulfuric acid, in solution form. So both these will react to give you lead sulfate, right? So both these liquids will keep reacting to give you this solid. Whereas in this reaction we already started with a solid, right? And then the product is also solid. So both solid, right, will mix, right? This solid will deposit on this, right? So further reaction will stop, right? This is important, right? So now we have another important, you can take down all these reactions, right? You can start making notes. You can pause the video and make notes, right? Now we will take further examples. How to prepare silver chloride, right? We have already started preparation of silver chloride. Now there is one reaction, preparation of barium sulfate from barium chloride solution and sulfuric acid, right? Preparation of barium sulfate, will take barium chloride solution plus H2SO4, it will form barium sulfate which is a precipitate plus HCl. And this is a precipitate, and just to recall, this is a double decomposition reaction, right, wherein exchange of radicals is taking place to form two different compounds. One of the compound is a solid precipitate, here barium sulfate, and because a precipitate is getting formed in this reaction is also known as precipitation reaction, right. Now let's take the preparation of a salt, ferric chloride. You have this in your book, you have a diagram there for the preparation of ferric chloride, wherein you see a combustion tube like this. There is a combustion tube. Combustion tube is, it's generally heated. You will see this kind of coil, right, and this is iron wire. And here you have, this is iron, this is one of the reactant. What we are doing here is the reaction that we have done before in the same lecture, wherein iron will react with the direct combination reaction. Iron will react with chlorine to give FeCl3. This is direct combination of iron and chlorine. Now let's see how we'll do this in the lab. This is heated iron. When you pass dry chlorine gas over heated iron, it will form ferric chloride, right. This is heated iron, right, and this is dry chlorine. Now let's see how we will get dry chlorine and heated iron. This is a combustion tube, right, wherein we are heating this tube from outside, right, and iron is getting heated, and we are supplying chlorine. We are passing chlorine through this combustion tube, right. It's coming from here. It's this kind of a container where we are preparing chlorine. This is concentrated sulfuric acid, right. So from here it's getting supply of chlorine, and this is concentrated sulfuric acid. And we know, we have studied or we'll study in the next lecture, that concentrated sulfuric is a drying agent. By drying agent we mean it is used to dry gases, right. So if we pass chlorine through this concentrated sulfuric acid, this concentrated sulfuric acid will absorb all moisture from chlorine gas. So chlorine here, this concentrated sulfuric acid will behave as a drying agent, or we also call it as a dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent or drying agent. These two are, both these are little different, but for this reaction you can remember, we can just call it as a drying agent. In the next lecture I have explained the difference between drying agent, dehydrating agent, everything, right. So chlorine gas will pass through this concentrated sulfuric acid. This concentrated sulfuric acid will absorb moisture from chlorine gas, right, and it will further pass this chlorine. So chlorine that will come out of this will be free of moisture, right, and this tube is connected here, and we are passing chlorine over this heated iron, right, and this heated iron will react with chlorine like here to give you ferric chloride, which is a salt, an insoluble salt, right. So ferric chloride will condense. Here we have taken this kind of a beaker, so here, right, this ferric chloride will settle here, it will volatilize out and will settle here, condense here. solid ferric chloride will condense here. Here in this combustion tube, this is combustion tube. Here what reaction is taking place? Chlorine that is coming from here, dry chlorine that is coming from here, right? It's passing, we are passing this dry chlorine over heated iron. This is heated iron, right? And heated iron reacts with chlorine, dry chlorine, give you ferric chloride, right? This ferric chloride will volatilize out. It will volatilize out. That means it's volatile, or it will volatilize out and will come in this container, right here, and it will solidify here. So you have ferric chloride here, solid ferric chloride that is getting formed from reaction of iron and chlorine in this combustion tube will come here in this container, right? And you have solid ferric chloride will settle down here. So this is how we prepare in the lab. We prepare solid ferric chloride, and this is an insoluble salt, we know that. Now we know one thing, that this ferric chloride is highly deliquescent in nature. By deliquescent we mean, if you leave ferric chloride in air, it will start absorbing moisture, right? So we need to prevent that from happening, right? So what we will do is, we will take one drying agent. This is how you can see in your book, quicklime, calcium chloride. We have calcium chloride in this tube. This calcium chloride will prevent any moisture from entering here in this container, right? Because we know calcium chloride is again a drying agent, right? It will not let this ferric chloride absorb moisture, because this will absorb moisture first, right? So since this is, I'll just write it over here. We will do deliquescent efflorescence hygroscopy in the next lecture. This is deliquescent, right, and has a tendency to absorb moisture, right? So to prevent this is kept with fused calcium chloride, right, so that we can prevent ferric chloride from absorbing moisture. We know why, because like sulfuric acid is acting as a drying agent here, calcium chloride is also a drying agent.